Hello guys, today I would like to tell you how to use patterns. So firstly, we need to go into a sketch and we choose a top line, we hit it OK, and then on this top line, I can just draw rectangles with extrude some distance here. So let's hit it apply. And next, I would like to do a sketch on the top surface of this object I just created on last step, and then I just draw a rectangles and then extrude it. At this moment in boolean, let's choose it subtract with some distance. Let's not go through about below object, so we need to reverse a little bit. So let's hit it apply. You could got this hole on this object, and then if you go into pattern face, right, and you could also go into a menu and insert in associative copy that has a pattern face there. So you need to select this or this to face, and the layout default is linear. We need to give a specified vectors to, for example, let's give this directions. And in here, the default is count and pitch. You could also change to a count and span or pitch and span. Okay, so we need to give a count maybe a 10. So we could also change to a distance into a 12, for examples, to make it more loose than before. And you could also try to change your content span, so it's there has a count in the span distance. Maybe we could choose 120 or 100, for example. And if you change to a pitch and span, you could got a pitch distance, so we could change to a 10. We could change to a 10 here with a span distance, for example, 120 or 110, right? Okay, you could also, for example, if I hit this metric, if this below object is enough to the left side, you could see a mirror patterns with linear layout will be shown on this object. We could also choose a use direction too. So we just click the specify vector. Let's click this y-axis. Okay, you could got a kind of layout with direction 2 and direction 1. If you're not satisfied with these directions, let's just hit it reverse the directions. You could also give the count into, for example, 5, right? You could got a more holes there. Okay, so let's hit it apply. And next, if you're going to a sketch, we still choose the top view, and we just created a rectangle. Sorry, we change to by 2 points. We draw rectangles with extruded. Hit it up. Sorry, we need to change here into a noun, so we hit it apply. So at that moment, if we're going to more pattern face, sorry, first we still need on the surface, we're drawing a hole there. We use extruded to give a cut. So default is specify vector is YC. This is round. Let's change this to ZC and trying to give the distance, for example, 3 to this, and reverse directions and do subtracts to this body and hit it apply. So at that moment, I go into a pattern face. So change the layout into circular. The same way, we need to choose this two-face layout, keep it circular. We give a specified vectors to those directions, specified point. For example, I just click at random on this surface. So you could got this kind of circular layout there. And the count is 12 and pitch angle is currently is 10. So each of this object, the angle between each of the point is 10 degrees. We could also change to a 20. You're gonna got a more loose pattern here. You could also change to the count that you want. For example, change to a 20. So you could also change to a count and span. So it's calculated by a count here and the span angles. For example, I give a 120. So you got a more intense patterns here. And we could also change the count into a more loose patterns. We could also change to a pitch and span. It's calculated with angle. The pitch angle of each two is 30 degrees. So we could change to what we want, for example, 20. And then we got span angle. Sorry, we need to give it this. It's 20. And then we got a span angle totally is 120. We could give it like 200 maybe, and then we could got more more patterns, more count columns here, right? Okay, let's hit it apply. So a face pattern member intersection with overlapping another face cannot be applied. So for example, let's just change to a count and pitch default. And we give it more loose angles here. So you could got this card correctly, right? So let's hit it apply. So for examples, I also would like to draw a small holes on this surface with extruded cards doing a subtract with this below body. We need to reverse this by doing this hole there. At this moment, I go into a pattern face and the default, the layout will change to a polygon. We select this two face and specify vectors. We need to choose a z axis specified point. Let's just hit it on the surface randomly. So you could got this kind of polygon. You could also change the number of the size into whatever you want. For example, we change to a 5. And spacing default is count per side. We could also change to pitch alongside, right? And the count, if it change to a pitch alongside, is calculated by a pitch and span. If it change to a count per size, we calculate by a count and span. For example, each edge we got a 4, but we could also change the number of this, so you could got a more intense patterns here. And we could also give the span default to 360s. For example, I just need 300, right? If we change to a pitch alongside, so a pitch is 25 millimeters. If we change to a 10, so you're gonna got more intense distance between a two column card with a span 300, and I could also change the angles that I want to give to these patterns, right? Let's hit it apply. So I also need to draw a rectangle here. Do extrude it again by just a nail, so you could generate this kind of shades, right? And this times I also draw a small holes there. And this time I doing extruded with unite with below body, hit it apply. So This time I'm going to a pattern face layout. So I need to select this two face as well, right? So in the layout, I change to a spiral and specify plane normal, this spline. Sorry, let's to give it to this spline. Reference vectors needs to select the z-axis. So you could got this kind of spiral shapes here. Something outside of this board won't show here. It only shows something on this board. But it doesn't matter. I just show how it looks like to you. And you could change your direction from left hand to right hand. So you could show more patterns on this board. And you could also change spiral size by default is numbers of tens. You could change to totally angles. So let's go back to number of 10, numbers of turns. Turns we could choose more turns here. With radial pitch default is 50. If you change to 25, you could got a more smaller spiral shape. And you could also change to pitch along spiral. For example, I changed to a 25. So you could got a more patterns here. And if you're going to total angles, the angles is 720s. So I could also customize the angles there to get a more patterns on this board. And radial pitch could change to more bigger shape or smaller shape. And pitch along spiral could change to more loose shape. So you could say when you change more loose shape and the physical shape gonna correct shows on the board, right? So let's hit it. And it also has rotation angle. So default is 0 degrees. If I change to 6 degrees, the pattern is also based on this angle rotation. Be changed it than before. And let's hit it apply. Okay, and then at this moment on this board, I draw a curve, right? And then I hit the finish. On this sketch, I also draw a rectangles with extruded united with selected body, hit it apply. At that moment, I hit it more, pattern face. I selected this face and layout I changed to along. So we need to select the path methods. I select this line, curve, arc I just created. I also could change to a spacing to a count pitch, count span, or pitch and span. You could try yourself later. And this count I just changed to 10. And the locations arc lengths, percentage, and maybe this is default is 50. So you could show less columns here. So if I change to a 10, you could show more columns here, right? And if on the sketch I have another arcs here, so at that moment I hit it finish sketch. So I'm going to a pattern face. I selected this face and layout I changed to a lawn. So I selected the path and I changed to a 10 with percentage 10. And direction 2, I could also change to another lines. I could also give the curves to generate more columns here. Let's hit apply. So we got this very intensive patterns on the surface. Okay guys, today we just finished pattern face tutorial to you. If you like my video, just could subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, just leave a comments to me. I will definitely reply to you later. So see you next class. Bye.